Hello students, today we are going to study the poem Dover Beach written by Matthew Arnold. Matthew Arnold was a poet, critic and philosopher who belonged to the Victorian age. The Victorian age spanned from 1837 to 1901. 1837 से लेकर 1901 को हम विक्टोरियन पीरियड इसलिए कहते हैं क्योंकि इंग्लैंड पर उस समय क्वीन विक्टोरिया का रूल था. It was a time when England witnessed economic growth, prosperity and rise in literacy. But it was also a time of conflicts, doubts and dilemmas. One of the major conflicts of the time was between science and religion. The scientific developments at the time pointed out that Earth and human beings evolved through a scientific process, and this shook the very foundations of religion or Christianity. क्रिश्चियनिटी में जैसे कि सभी रिलीजन्स में माना जाता है कि अर्थ और ह्यूमन बीइंग्स, नेचर, एनिमल्स सब कुछ भगवान का क्रिएशन है. लेकिन साइंस ने प्रूव कर दिया कि अर्थ पर जो लाइफ आई है वो साइंटिफिक प्रोसेस के थ्रू इवॉल्व हुई है, जिसमें कि भगवान का कोई भी रोल नहीं है. Now, this knowledge came as a great shock for the people in the 19th century and created a conflict in their minds whether they should believe in God or science. इसी डाउट और कॉन्फ्लिक्ट को मैथ्यू आर्नल्ड ने अपनी पोएम डवर बीच में दिखाया है. Dover Beach was first published in 1867 in the collection New Poems. 1867 में मैथ्यू आर्नल्ड का एक पोइट्री का कलेक्शन पब्लिश हुआ था, न्यू पोएम्स, जिसमें कि डवर बीच पब्लिश हुई थी. इट इज़ कंपोज्ड ऑफ 37 लाइन्स. पोएम में कुल मिलाकर 37 लाइन्स हैं, जिसमें कि 4 स्टैंजाज हैं, बट all the stanzas have different length and rhyme scheme. The 37 lines, which are divided into 4 stanzas, सब में number of lines और rhyme scheme एक दूसरे से different है. So the poem has an asymmetrical structure. Dover Beach is a poem with mournful tone of an elegy. क्योंकि पोएट इसमें लॉस ऑफ फेथ के बारे में बोल रहे हैं, therefore the whole tone or mood of the poem is very somber, very serious. It is a dramatic monologue in which the speaker is addressing his beloved. जैसा कि आपको पता है कि ड्रामेटिक मोनोलॉग में there is one speaker. So the speaker in this poem is the lover, and the audience to whom he is addressing is the beloved. So in short, we can say that Dover Beach explores the decline of faith and the resulting sense of uncertainty and melancholy in the modern world. इस पोएम की जो थीम है, इट इज़ अबाउट हाउ पीपल आर फीलिंग हेल्पलेस इन द फेस ऑफ द डाउट दैट was created in the minds of people regarding religion. So now we are going to discuss the whole poem stanza by stanza. This is the first stanza of the poem. The sea is calm tonight, the tide is full, the moon lies fair upon the straits. On the French coast, the light gleams and is gone. The cliffs of England stand, glimmering and vast, out in the tranquil bay. Come to the window, sweet is the night air. Only from the long line of spray where the sea meets the moon-blanched land, listen, you hear the grating roar of pebbles which the waves draw back and fling at their return up the high strand. Begin and cease and then again begin with tremulous cadence slow and bring the eternal note of sadness in. Now this is the first stanza and also it is the longest stanza of the poem. This stanza is structured like a Petrarchan sonnet where it can be divided into two substanzas of 8 lines and 6 lines. So first 8 lines they form a thought which is completely contrasting to the thought that is present in the second part of the stanza, that is the last 6 lines of the stanza. पोएम के फर्स्ट स्टैंजा को हम 2 पार्ट्स में डिवाइड कर सकते हैं, जिसमें कि फर्स्ट पार्ट जो है वो फर्स्ट 8 लाइन्स हैं और जो सेकंड पार्ट है दैट इज़ द लास्ट 8 लाइन्स. पोएट ने जो थॉट्स जो है फर्स्ट पार्ट में एक्सप्रेस करी हैं, लास्ट की 6 लाइन्स में कंप्लीटली डिफरेंट पिक्चर वो हमें प्रेजेंट करते हैं. Poet begins with a description of sea. He is perhaps looking through a window and invites his beloved also to enjoy the scene. The sea is calm and the moon is irradiating the water and wind that is blowing is sweet. तो आप देख सकते हैं कि कैसे ओपनिंग 8 लाइन्स में पोएट ने पॉजिटिव एडजेक्टिव्स जैसे कि काम, फेयर, ट्रैंक्विल, स्वीट यूज़ करे हैं ये दिखाने के लिए कि द सीन दैट ही इज़ लुकिंग अपॉन इज़ ब्यूटिफुल एंड he is enjoying it. But in the next 6 lines, the mood of the poet changes and he invites his beloved to listen. In the next 6 lines, poet जो है सिर्फ एक ही चीज़ पर concentrate कर पा रहा है and that is the grating sound of the pebbles which the waves are bringing along them and then dragging back with them. And this grating sound, which is produced again and again by the movement of waves, reminds him of the eternal sadness that lies at the heart of this world. Now we come to the second stanza of the poem. Sophocles long ago heard it on the Aegean, and it brought into his mind the turbid ebb and flow of human misery. We find also in the sound a thought, hearing it by this distant northern sea. The poet carries over the thought that was evoked in the previous stanza of eternal sadness in the second stanza. He conjectures that perhaps this sadness is not something new. Sophocles, the Greek philosopher, must also have felt this sadness during his time because he also lived at a time when many changes were happening in society. It seems that the poet here is thinking that since changes in our world are inevitable, so human misery is also unavoidable because both go hand in hand. जब भी हमारी सोसाइटी और पॉलिटिकल सिस्टम में चेंजेस होते हैं, उसके कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस हमें झेलने पड़ते हैं। वन थिंग दैट इज़ एटर्नल, जो कि हमेशा हमारे साथ चलती है पोएट के अकॉर्डिंग, वो है हमारे कष्ट और दुख। In the next stanza, the poet says, "The sea of faith was once too at the full and round earth's shore. Lay like the folds of a bright girdle unfurled, but now I only hear its melancholy long withdrawing roar, retreating to the breath of the night wind, down the vast edges drear and naked shingles of the world." In this stanza, the poet expresses his fear of how faith is being eroded from our world. Poet presents an extended image in this stanza of faith being projected as a sea that surrounds us. Poet ने faith को एक सी की तरह प्रेजेंट किया है, जिसने कि हमें चारों तरफ से घेर रखा है. This sea of faith acts like a protective shield around us, but now poet can hear it receding, going back, leaving the mankind exposed to uncertainty, doubts and misery. Human beings को poet ने naked shingles, meaning stones which are left uncovered, से compare किया है. Now we come to the closing stanza of the poem, where Arnold tries to suggest a solution to the current problem. In this stanza, he says, "Our love, let us be true to one another, for the world which seems to lie before us like a land of dreams, so various, so beautiful, so new, hath really neither joy, nor love, nor light, nor certitude, nor peace, nor help for pain. And we are here as on a darkling plain, swept with confused alarms of struggle and fright, where ignorant armies clash by night." In the final stanza, the poet turns to love. He addresses his beloved that at such a time only love can save them. This is the beginning of a new world order. जो डेवलपमेंट्स हो रहे हैं साइंस की फील्ड में, इकोनॉमी एंड सोशल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में, these changes promise to bring in a new world. एक नई दुनिया बनने वाली है, और ये जो न्यू वर्ल्ड है ऐसा लगता है बहुत प्रॉमिसिंग होगा, लाइक अ लैंड ऑफ ड्रीम्स, सुंदर और अद्भुत. But poet has an inkling, a fear that this might not be true, and the new world would be devoid of love, happiness, certainty, peace, and compassion. At the closing of the poem, he presents a very ominous image. He says that it feels like we are on a darkling plain, meaning we are completely surrounded by darkness. In the last two lines, he says that we are like two armies facing each other, but it is completely dark and we do not know who we are fighting against. Perhaps he is trying to convey the message that we are engaged in a fight which is meaningless. In this fight, no one will ever emerge either as a victor or be defeated. Darkness in the poem is a metaphor of uncertainty. The people at that time were not sure about the consequences of the developments that were happening at that time, and thus this made them feel anxious and helpless. I hope you enjoyed the poem. Stay tuned for more such content. Thank you.